Thank you so much for joining us for Tips for Linfield College Parents. I'm Debbie Harmon Ferry, Director of Alumni and Parent Relations, and my guest today is Shaik Ismail, Director of International Programs. Welcome, Shaik.
Thank you very much.
Great. I'd like to ask you a few questions that might be on the minds of our parents as it relates to our study abroad programs here at Linfield. The first is, what do you think are the primary benefits for students who study abroad?
Well, let me address it two ways: what our students tell us and what employers tell us.
Okay.
What our students tell us is that when they come back from a study abroad experience, they feel more confident, more flexible in dealing with challenging situations, more tolerant of ambiguities, and ready to explore, ready to take on new challenges. In fact, students who come back from January term experiences after 4 weeks go on to study for 4 months or 1 year in semester or year abroad programs. Employers, we have done surveys upon surveys for decades now, and employers always say that students who have had some kind of a cross-cultural experience, mainly from study abroad, could be internship abroad or here, or it could be studying a foreign language, tend to do better in the workplace because we know that the workplace today is very diverse. The person in the cubicle next to you may speak 3 languages. So you can adapt better, you are better at team playing because most projects today are done in teams. Mm-hmm. So students tend to succeed after that kind of challenge abroad.
Well, with that in mind, I know that some parents are saying, oh my gosh, this sounds wonderful, I wish I could do it, but they may have sons or daughters who are not particularly interested at this point. Is there anything those parents can do or should do to encourage that interest in their students?
The first step is to send the son or daughter to our office.
Okay.
To talk with our staff. Now, our staff will not oversell the program because we realize that it's not for everyone. You have to have the motivation to study abroad. We create the motivation by giving them more information to lower the anxiety by connecting them with students who have returned from abroad, returnees. You know, student-to-student conversation, more meaningful than us talking to them. And we have them read blogs, look at photo albums. And another thing that we might encourage is for them to explore a January term experience because they are faculty-led. So going with a Linfield faculty for 4 weeks with fellow Linfield students might be a softer landing. And as I've indicated before, after Jan term, then they're ready to explore.
Now, for many of us, the students already are excited about this idea. Can you tell parents what are the likelihoods that a student who's interested in study abroad will be able to do that? How difficult is it to be accepted to some of those programs?
Well, it is a competitive process. They fill out an application, which is, in fact, it was due yesterday. Mm-hmm. And the application package includes the form itself, it includes 2 letters of recommendation from faculty, advisor clearance form, an essay that they have to write, which is answering a question on the form, and transcript that they have to provide us, and all that is a package that is then sent to teams of faculty who interview every candidate. Mm-hmm. I don't make the decision. The faculty interview the students and make recommendations to us. But, you know, by and large, if a student is prepared for the interview and has done well at Linfield, the overall grade point average that we require is 2.75. But then some programs like Nottingham and Ireland, Beijing, require a higher grade point average because those schools demand that. But the students know that beforehand. They know from the brochures, from the website. So if they're well prepared, our rejection rate is really very, very low.
And how about maybe a little bit of the timing? Is that traditionally students would go abroad junior year, sophomore year, senior year? What does that look like? And what you said the deadline was yesterday for next fall, I assume.
Next fall and spring.
Okay, great. Can you tell me a little bit about that? When do traditionally?
Typically, students go on January term during the sophomore year, once they're ready to go. Because, you know, freshmen will not be ready to go because they have to fulfill certain requirements here. And then semester, year abroad, junior year, there's some seniors who can go. but some majors require them to be here to finish their thesis, so senior seminar and so on. So junior year is really typical for semester year abroad. And January term, typically sophomore, but juniors can go abroad as well. And sometimes they do the reverse. They go on a semester abroad program, they come back, they're dying to travel again, so they go on a Jan term course, and especially with a faculty that they adore.
Can you tell me a little bit about how Linfield encourages and supports students who want to study abroad?
Linfield shows its commitment to study abroad in international education by paying the airfare of the student's first experience abroad. And then, if a student's major or minor require study abroad, Linfield pays for the second one as well. I have been in international education for 35 years. There's not a single institution out there that does that. So that is a remarkable commitment by the institution to support international education.
Well, it sounds wonderful. I am sure there are parents out there that are interested in what does that mean cost-wise? How much more expensive is it than, say, being on campus? And does your financial aid go with you?
For semester year abroad programs, you pay exactly the same tuition as you would pay on campus. Your bill will not look any differently than a regular semester. So all your financial aid will carry, except, of course, work study, because you can't work abroad. And on top of that, you pay room and board, and in most cases, it's home stays. And certain programs have field trips and other activities. We also have insurance embedded in that fee. And all of that put together is really not much more than a semester on campus. In fact, in some cases, like in Costa Rica or in Ecuador, it's actually lower because costs in those countries are lower. The most expensive program is in Austria because students stay there a month longer. They arrive in August, and we do an intensive German outside of Vienna for close to a month, and then they move to Vienna and stay with homestay families. And because of that elongated semester, it costs slightly more than the other programs. But otherwise, it's about the same as the semester here. Now, January term, we have the per credit fee for courses that they take, just as on campus. And then we have on top of that a program fee, which covers all the on-site costs, planes, trains, automobiles, hotels.
Now, when you go for a semester abroad, do students study in English or in the language of the country where they are living for that semester?
We have 32 locations around the world for semester year abroad programs. About 60% of those are in the target language because our minors are required to study for a semester abroad. Majors in language are required to study for a year abroad. So those, as soon as you get off the plane, you are in that target language until you get on the plane to come home. But then there are others, such as Nottingham and Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Korea, Norway. Those are all in English. And of course, we encourage students to take the target language as well. When they're in Hong Kong, they want to take Mandarin. If they are in Norway, they want to take Norwegian.
So there's a little bit of everything to choose from.
Correct.
Terrific. I know another big question for parents is safety. You know, some of them, it's hard to send your son or daughter that far away, even though they're now a young adult. What does your office have to do with safety concerns? What if, while the students are gone, something were to happen in that country? What can you tell me about that?
Well, this is now a concern for the entire industry. The industry of study abroad is always cautious about student safety. At Linfield, we are very deliberate in making sure that we don't send students to very challenging places. We don't need to be that adventurous because you can get good experiences in safe places. I get a daily email from the State Department, Office of Security, Diplomatic Security, that tells me all the trouble spots around the world. And we monitor that very carefully. In fact, as we speak, as you know, there are demonstrations going on in Hong Kong. We have 2 students there. We're in touch with them every day. And they are terrific. They have confined themselves to the campus and they're not going downtown. And we cover that at orientation. And so we continue to monitor the situation all the time. The Ebola crisis, for example, gave us pause in terms of our programs in Africa. And then on top of that, every student takes on an insurance that has been vetted by Linfield College and is, again, I said earlier, embedded in the fee. And that insurance program carries with it medical as well as safety evacuation. If someone is sick, needs to come home, someone needs medical attention somewhere else other than where they are, there's that provision. And if there's tsunami, earthquake, violence, we can evacuate them, and it's all covered by the insurance.
I know that we hear wonderful things from our students who come back and appreciate all you do and think that's one of the great hallmarks of Linfield's education.
I believe so.
Is there anything else you would like our parents to know that we haven't covered already?
I think the best advice I can give is really to prepare from day one. When they set foot on campus, the first meeting that they have with their academic advisor, talk about study abroad, because you are really preparing a 4-year path. And semester abroad or year abroad or Jan term has to fit in. And I've been at Linfield 11 years. Not one student has had to delay graduation because of study abroad. So it's all embedded into the curriculum. All the courses that they take abroad are all Linfield courses, and it just transfers right into the transcript. And many of the courses also Linfield curriculum, and many of the courses satisfy majors and minors. So all these programs that we have, the 32 locations, all have been vetted by the faculty. So each department knows that they take ownership of these programs, and they know which course where would satisfy what requirement.
Great.
So start from day one, talk to your advisor, visit our office, plenty of material to go through, and essentially by the time you finish your first semester at Linfield, you're ready to board the plane.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Thanks,
Sure.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Our next guest will be Ellen Crabtree, who's the Director of Academic Advising, and she'll be joining me shortly. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email those to parents@linfield.edu. Thank you.